Misty, as far as how the defense is handling some of this explosive testimony from Kid Cudi, who was very strong on the stand, according to our reporters who are in there watching this every single day, how is the defense handling itself so far?
Well, first of all, explosive is the perfect word because the main point of that testimony from the prosecution's perspective was the Molotov cocktail that Kid Cudi says it was Combs and his affiliates, his associates, who blew up his car. And that is part of the predicate crimes prosecutors are seeking to establish of arson, which goes towards racketeering. But Sarah, I was actually in the courtroom for Kid Cudi's testimony, so I saw it. He was a great witness, but the defense was able to chip away at his testimony on cross and establish that he had no direct information. He didn't see anybody. There were no cameras. There was never an arrest. Basically, throwing a little bit of doubt as to whether or not he could really say it was Combs or someone associated with Combs who actually did that damage to his car. So the defense did a good job. He also said that Cassie played him. This was his testimony, and that she was living a double life by dating both himself and Combs. Now, that speaks to her autonomy in the situation, that element of control. So the defense did an excellent job on cross-examination of getting that out in front of the jury.
Yeah, one of those moments that Kid Cudi had was saying that he saw Combs standing outside after that car was burned, looking like a supervillain, staying there with his hands behind his back. But I am curious about some of this coming in. There was no police report, there was no investigation, there was no arrest of Sean Diddy Combs at the time. Were you surprised that that came in, that the judge allowed that testimony and those pictures?
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's more to come on this, because it was a lot of supposition on behalf of Kid Cudi saying, this must have been him because we had this warning and then the thing happened. So it was, and that is always, frankly, a danger in a racketeering case. They have this huge swath of time that they're covering. There's lots of events. There's a real question of is all of this stuff properly before the jury?
Yeah, and that is something, obviously, if there's a conviction that can come back up on appeal.
So tomorrow, after this long weekend, we'll be back in session in court, and Capricorn Clark is set to take the stand now. She's come up in several different witness testimonies. She's been referenced. She's a longtime assistant and eventually became an executive at Bad Boy Records. So many of the witnesses that we've heard from so far that were affiliated or working for Combs were little snapshots of time. 2 years here, 2 years there. Capricorn Clark worked with him for a longer period of time. She also was referencing Kid Cudi's testimony that she had reached out to Kid Cudi and said, hey, Combs and some of his affiliates are at your house, are breaking into your house. So she's certainly going to be a very important witness. And my expectation for pre-trial is that she's going to testify about the means and methods of the criminal racketeering conspiracy that prosecutors are seeking to establish.
Yeah, and we're expecting, 6 weeks of the prosecution putting on its case and the defense doing its thing afterwards.
Yo, it's Big Ant, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV. UPTV, make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in, and even though they took a break for the Memorial Day weekend from the Diddy federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial, they most definitely was handling things behind the scenes. So when they go back to court tomorrow, they already gonna know what they're going to be discussing with everything. And I had a links in the description where you could watch the clip in the beginning in full from CNN as they went in themselves today and cammed up on the stream, and people inside the offices. A lot of news outlets was covering Diddy stuff today to get it ready for tomorrow because they're going to be outside the courtroom. They were saying right there's a lot of evidence that is very questionable, and we didn't see anything that confirmed or made it solid or physical when it came to the testimony of Kid Cudi on the stand. And now Diddy team has put out and filed paperwork, so when they go to court tomorrow, they can get his whole testimony thrown out by the judge. TMZ has obtained the legal docs filed in Diddy's criminal case, where his lawyers argue Cudi's claims about Diddy alleged involvement in his 2020 car explosion are nothing but opinion and shouldn't be allowed in court. In short, they're saying Cudi thinks Diddy did it, but there's no hard evidence, no confession, no receipts. As we reported, KC told the court last week he knew Diddy had something to do with the Molotov cocktail attack on his porch after ending things with Cassie, but admitted there was no witnesses, fingerprints, or proof linking Diddy to the arson. When Cudi asked Diddy point blank about the explosion, he denied it. Cudi testified he didn't believe him and claims Diddy even apologized for all that BS when he ran into him years later. Diddy's team is now pushing hard to erase that entire exchange, arguing it's legally irrelevant and unfairly prejudicial. I messed that one up, but all right. No word yet on how the judge will rule, but Diddy's team clearly wants to torch this part of the trial. Stay tuned. Now, with that being said, of course, Diddy team, they sat down and discussed it. Diddy said send that through. Hey, block his whole testimony. There is no physical evidence. There is no proof. There is nothing that links me to it. And as y'all heard, even with the news crew from CNN saying there was no arrest made, it's nothing that can confirm this happened. This is just him coming in, and we can say this is all an opinion right here. Now, also, who's going to be coming in, Capricorn tomorrow, is somebody who worked with Diddy. Now, we saw that the other day. Y'all see me cover those videos as well, and she was somebody employed by Bad Boy and Diddy at the time. She's the one that Diddy, according to Cudi, allegedly, he forced her to take him and go over to Kid Cudi's house with him when they went in. She's the one that called Cudi and said, we over here at your house and stuff like that. She's supposed to work with Diddy. And this is them trying to say, well, we're going to point out that he was having criminal enterprise work done under the Bad Boy umbrella through his assistants. He's breaking different laws. And it's so long, 15 years now. This is what this is about when it comes to the racketeering side of stuff. The arson, they are saying that you have to have two things under the racketeering for it to be considered a racketeering thing, where the jury can say, well, with these two incidents, whether it be arson, kidnapping, anything else, this is what makes this racketeering. People are up in question now because we just hearing a lot of character things going on with Diddy. They've done a good job of making him look very bad to the jury at this point in time right now. They've talked about the sex stuff with him and Cassie. Diddy's team and Diddy's defense is I'm innocent. And yeah, I'm doing some sexual things. I'm on drugs. I have a bad attitude. I have a temper. I've done domestic violence, but I am not running a criminal enterprise and things. We've seen other guys that work for him saying they was in charge of organizing these freak offs. And I'm just going to come back and say it again. It's innocent until proven guilty. This trial going to be some more weeks going into it. I'm just keeping it 100. I'm just saying, for me, I'm not okaying what Diddy did, as in how he be moving. The stuff is weird to me. The beating on Cassie, the this and this and that, bro. He did that. Feel how you feel about it, but does this mean, because this is no in between. If we want to say all this stuff is this or that, that means he going to prison for the rest of his life. Do we think that he did enough to go to prison for the rest of his life, especially when it's consenting adults involved? Just keeping it all the way 1,000. We'll see. Memorial Day, they getting it started before they go to court tomorrow. They're going to come in and testify. Still haven't seen the physical proof of this stuff. But hey, once they come in, we're going to call it like it is. Tell me what y'all think. We got more coming, more videos, all at 1,000 for shit show. Stay on your pivot.